Good evening, everybody. Roll call.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Roll call, Mrs. Belomo. Mrs. Gandhi. Mr. Hyatt.
Here.
Mr. Olansky.
Here.
Mrs. McCormack.
Here.
Dr. Miskowitz. Mr. Petruno. Mrs. Seward.
Here.
And Mrs. Mendez.
Here. I want to draw your attention to Sunshine Law, statement of videotaping of public portion of Board of Education meetings, public comments statement, and no smoking or vaping on school grounds. Just one thing when it comes to public comments, and I'll say it just a couple of times tonight before public comments are open, is that I just want to remind everybody that when you identify or say someone's name and have other information that follows, you just want to be mindful that there are at times repercussions to that, and so we just want to be careful when saying a name in public. That's all, because it's broadcast live, and we just want to make sure you know that. Otherwise, I mean, people can say, they're free to say whatever they'd like in public comments for the most part, but I just want to make sure that we make you aware of that, and then you proceed as you feel you need to. With that, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, student impact?
So what you just saw was a video about our this year's Walk for Change, which is an activity across our schools that advances a mindset around disabilities and embraces differences and unique abilities. Leading up to that event, students used chalk on the sidewalks and bricks of their schools with messages of kindness and inclusion. The event was sponsored by SCOPE, benefiting students and special education programs. Students brought in change to drop into buckets around the Walk for Change route, and there were various stations for the students to participate in. The winning grade level in each building will receive a treat, courtesy of Chartwells. Thank you.
Thank you. Artwork on display?
Artwork on display is mixed media nature prints, Stephanie Zoppi's 7th grade class. Students began by creating a series of oil pastel pattern papers, working with warm or cool color schemes. They then tore each paper in half and glued it onto a solid piece of colored paper, creating a total of 8 collage papers. Next, students created nature-inspired printing plates from styrofoam, which they rolled with various colors of ink and printed on the collage papers. After printing, students selected 3 favorite prints and embellished them with paint pens. Students mounted their prints, focusing on balance and unity.
Thank you. We're going to change the agenda around just a little bit. So we have a nice sized audience here, and we want to make sure that people can speak before we go in executive and respect your time. We can have public comments again, which we will. So don't worry if you're not here right now and you come later, we will have another round of public comments. But before we do that, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Balone, for announcements.
Sure. I do have an announcement. I just want to update the community, our school community, on some of the events that have recently taken place with respect to anti-Semitic remarks and actions by our students. I sent out 2 communications to the community. The first one was notifying the community of these events, and then the second one, unfortunately, we had a few other instances of those events. So I'll just read read a summary of from my letter with some of the actionable steps that we are taking as a school district in adherence of our zero tolerance for any acts of anti-Semitism or hate of any kind, whether it be spoken, written, actions, anything of that nature. Again, zero tolerance. It's in our district policy, and we'll be working diligently. I know we're coming up to the end of school, so hopefully our students will have a chance to reset. But we're going to be working hard over the summer on bolstering our program. So number one, we have already reestablished expectations with our students. Both middle schools, we focused on the middle schools primarily this year because that's where those instances were taking place from the majority of the incidents. So both middle schools had assemblies by school administration, and they focused on this issue regarding any form of hate, and that it is that we have a zero tolerance policy. So that took place already. In terms of education and awareness, I want to wholeheartedly thank all of our local community, religious, and ethnic leaders. I reached out to many of them, one of whom is sitting in our audience. Rabbi Pont, thank you for joining us. We had a very productive meeting. I know you met with me, and you also met with some members of the Board of Education in a separate meeting. So we do thank you for your time and your efforts, and I'm just happy to know that we are on the same page, and we will work together with our school community, including our families, to make sure we eradicate hate of all kinds in our schools. So thank you for that. Reporting mechanisms. We have pretty robust reporting mechanisms within our school already. However, we do realize that sometimes students don't feel comfortable reporting to school administration, and that becomes a problem, right? Because any actions that happen in our schools, we need to know about it. But what we don't know, we can't fix. So part of that goal in terms of establishing connections with our local leaders, like Rabbi Pont and the other leaders I met with over the last 2 weeks, we have asked each and every one of them to, if a report comes to them, because a lot of times they do, right? And Rabbi Pont confirmed that in his meetings, and so did the other leaders, that we now have this open line of communication. So even if it's anonymous, he will report the incident that takes place, and we will address it immediately. So that's how we're going to bolster our reporting mechanisms, our support systems. We remain committed to providing support to anyone affected by hate speech or discrimination. We have counselors, we have school psychologists. So, and now with our newly established, again, connections with our local leaders, they're another support group, maybe even on the weekends or in the evenings when our students go to those places of worship or community centers, they can feel supported in that sense as well. And finally, I know this board is committed to constantly reviewing policy. So anywhere we can find space to include additional measures within our policies, we're constantly reviewing our district policy so we can adhere to them. Now, we would love in a perfect world, we would have 0 incidents, right? And we hope that happens. But we also know how to face reality, right? We talked about that at graduation today. The reality is we are educating children, and our job is to redirect and support them when they make mistakes. So we expect them to make mistakes. We will redirect them and make sure that we're supporting them while also adhering to our district policy or policies. And sometimes consequences are pretty difficult. But in this area, in this subject matter, we will utilize our policies to the fullest extent, because this is such a serious issue, and our students need to know better and learn better. So here to support them. Just wanted to report out on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ballone. To that effect, I just wanted to say also thank you, Rabbi Pont. We met with Mrs. Winston, Dr. Cece Gallen, a variety of people were there. Some board members that could attend during the day, we went as well, and we went together. And I just, at least to me, I think we said it was a really informative, beneficial meeting. We actually shared some documentation amongst each other. So I sent some policies that I thought would be helpful, since they said families come to them, to let them know where they can find them. We talked about the code of conduct policy. We talked about harassment, intimidation, or bullying, and a variety of other things. They've even offered, they held some training sessions, and so I did ask for myself personally, right, if you could, train me and let me look at it through another lens, right? So maybe when I'm looking at policies, at least I feel like I know more than I knew yesterday, and I know some board members express interest in doing that too. So I thank you for offering that as well, Rabbi Pont, and just thank you to everybody who met with us so far. The work isn't done. To Mr. Ballone's point, we did recently look at some of our policies regarding student behavior, HIB, but we did say the policy committee would look at it again over the summer in preparation for school opening, and just to make sure that we have everything in line, and then how we will communicate it out again to make sure that people are aware of, repercussions if there is some behavior that doesn't fall in line with our policy. So I just wanted to, again, thank you so much for us working together. I know you're going to speak too, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that we were grateful for the time, so thank you. Okay, so Mr. Caravello, the school bus driver and building maintenance.
Yes, all abstracts are run and all have privileges in good standing.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move to public comments, and then we'll move to executive. So is there anybody on the list?
Sure. First is Rabbi Michael Pont.
Thank you. I watched the video of Avery Eisenberg, who spoke courageously at the previous meeting. And what happened to her, sadly, is not an isolated incident. As the rabbi of the Marlboro Jewish Center, I've spoken to a number of students at Marlboro Middle School who tell me about anti-Semitic comments and acts that occur at MMS. Nor is this unique to our community. According to the Anti-Defamation League, incidents at K-12 schools in the United States increased by 135%. That's 1,162 incidents in 2023 alone. At my synagogue, we recently started a center to combat anti-Semitism. The CCA provides both support to those in Monmouth and Middlesex counties who are experiencing anti-Semitism, as well as resources to train and to educate the public. As Mr. Ballone mentioned, as Ms. Mendez mentioned, in the past couple of weeks, my partners and I contacted you and other local leaders to offer our help. And I want to thank you, Ms. Mendez, and those of you who met with us on the school board. And I also want to thank Superintendent Ballone and Principal Neil Waukee for also meeting with us. All of you made clear, as you did just now in your comments, that you understand that this is a problem, and I am grateful that you are committed to addressing it. So at my synagogue and with the CCA, we ask that you enforce your policies that emphasize zero tolerance for hate and that these policies must include anti-Semitism, along with a definition of what constitutes anti-Semitism, which we discussed in our meetings. I urge the Marlboro Board of Education and representatives from local schools to take advantage of what the CCA offers. Along with Mr. Ballone and Ms. Nielwacki, you expressed a desire to work collaboratively with us to implement policies and procedures to address the troubling rise of anti-Semitism in our community. So we look forward to working with you and to ensure that we follow through on these discussions so that we can all work together to create a safe and inclusive environment for all students and staff. Again, I thank you all very much for your time and your attention to this serious issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Pont. Again, thank you for the partnership, and we're looking forward to working with you.
Sure, next, Rima Shertog? Okay. That is it on the list. Does anybody else like to speak? Okay, please just come up and state your name and your address and any affiliation you have. Thank
Hi,
you.
my name is Solomon Hooley. I live in Howell, New Jersey. Zero tolerance means a lot of different things. For instance, Columbia University. Me and my sisters are children of Holocaust survivors, so we know what this could lead to. And I thank you all for being here. And like I said, zero tolerance could mean a lot of different things. And hopefully you guys know what can happen. Scholars have always argued that can the Holocaust happen again? Can it happen in the United States? It seems like, yes, it can happen again. And yes, it could happen in the United States if we don't stop it cold. And over the last couple of days, I'm so disappointed that more people outside the Jewish religion haven't spoken up. And as far as the religious leaders, the Catholic Church, and other religious organizations, I'm so disappointed that they haven't spoken up. And once again, yes, the Holocaust can happen again. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? Okay. Motion to close public comments. All in favor? Second. Any opposed? Discussion? Okay. Okay, executive session resolution. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, the Marlboro Township Board of Education shall conduct a closed executive session pursuant to the exceptions prescribed by NJSA 10-4-12 for the purpose of discussing matters of attorney-client privilege, meet and greet candidate for position of principal at Robertsville Elementary School, and selection of board attorneys. It is anticipated that the length of time of this executive session will be approximately 90 minutes, and that action will be taken in public after the executive session. Be it further resolved that the minutes of the executive session will be released when the need for confidentiality in accordance with NJSA 10-4-12 no longer applies. All in favor? Any opposed? Discussion? Okay. I just want to let you know, if you are new to the meeting, about executive session. So we will leave the room. We'll go back and behind closed doors have a couple of discussions based on what I discussed. And then we'll come back out in about 90 minutes. This one's a little bit longer because there's a lot to cover. There will be another round of public comments. So if somebody didn't arrive or they want to come later, they can, and they will have the opportunity to speak. You can wait or not wait. I just wanted to let you know how it works in case you're new to the meeting structure. Thank you. Roll call. I'm calling the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bellomo? Mrs. Gandhi?
Here.
Mr. Hyatt?
Here.
Mr. Lansky?
Here.
Mrs. McCormack?
Here.
Mrs. Seward?
Here.
And Mrs. Mendez?
Here. We had started the meeting, sorry, we had started the meeting at 7 o'clock before. We did have a variety of, we had student impact, a couple of presentations, and then we moved to public comments. Prior to that, I did state that we would open public comments again when we came back from executive in case people wanted to talk earlier on in the meeting. And then obviously we'll have another round of public comments open after. So I just want to open public comments now for anybody who wanted to speak at this point before the meeting began. So is there anybody on the list?
I do not have a list in front of me, so right now I do not have anybody, but would anybody like to speak?
Does anybody want to speak now? Ms. Chertog, correct? Yes. Hi, hello.
How are you?
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm here to express my deep concern and disappointment regarding administration's inadequate response to recent incidents of anti-Semitism within the Marlboro School District. These incidents are alarming and unacceptable, creating a hostile environment for Jewish students and staff. Specifically, I refer to the following disturbing occurrences. References to Nazi ideology and Hitler, swastika symbols in the yearbook, Heil Hitler signs on a school bus, which are intimidating and traumatizing, the use of phrases like "gas the Jews," inciting violence and hatred, students making Heil Hitler gestures in the classroom, not filing HIP reports. As someone who grew up in Soviet Union and whose parents came to this country as refugees to flee anti-Semitism, I find it particularly distressing to have to speak these words in a place where we sought refuge. Personally, I have never had to speak these words out loud, and I've never experienced them myself. Anti-Semitism has no place in our educational institutions. Not addressing these issues is a failure of schools' primary responsibility to provide a safe learning environment. So this is the action plan that we propose. Public acknowledgement and condemnation. The administration must publicly acknowledge the incidents and unequivocally condemn such behavior. Comprehensive investigation. Conduct a thorough investigation into all reported incidents, ensuring accountability and appropriate disciplinary actions. Education and training. Implement mandatory educational programs on anti-Semitism and broader issues of discrimination for all students, faculty, and staff. Support systems. Establish support systems for victims, including counseling services and a clear reporting mechanism. Policy review and implementation. Review and revise existing policies to strengthen the stance against anti-Semitism and ensure rigorous enforcement. Accountability. Ensure responsible parties are accountable for not filing HIP report and maintaining a safe environment. You can put cameras in the classroom. Just want to mention that it's important that any punitive measures should come from the school itself, as relying solely on police involvement is not a substitute for the administration's responsibility to enforce school rules and maintain a safe environment. And we look forward to your prompt response and effective action. Thank you for your attention.
Ms. Chertog, thank you for speaking. I was writing quickly some of the things that you had mentioned, and I appreciate that. Some things from a board perspective that we're working through. I had mentioned we did meet with Marlboro Jewish Center. I wanted to make sure that in case you didn't hear that part. So some of the board members and myself have met with Rabbi Pont and some of the Marlboro Jewish Center folks, and we had a really, really nice meeting. So I did ask for, at least from our perspective, or at least for me, some training, just so I could be more comfortable with proper definitions as we're looking at policies, the meaning behind certain things that might be helpful to us as a board as we're implementing and writing policy and updating them. So that part. We did also meet as a policy committee and made it just our goal over the summer to, again, review. We did recently look at code of conduct and HIB and a variety of other student behavior policies, but we also made it our goal over the summer to review them again and to make sure that it gets out in front of the schools before the school year begins. So we did take that on as a board as well. The other thing that I did do was sent over to Marlboro Jewish Center. They have a tendency, they said they meet with families, which is great, and families come to them to talk. And so we kind of shared where our policies live, because they were asking questions about code of conduct and how do you know if it's harassment or bullying. And so I shared with them our website. I shared some of our policies so that we can work together in partnership, and they could help educate families too as to who to contact, right? When to go to the principal or administration and when to involve the board. And so I did ask that for us to continue to evolve that relationship over the summer, and they shared documents with us talking about support systems and reporting mechanisms. So I know that's in place in the school, but they also shared their reporting mechanisms with us, right? They had a hotline that we all learned about and different things that we found to be super informative, that they would email me electronic versions. So we are working through as a board these pieces, and so I appreciate you bringing them up, and I'll be happy to update the community along the way as we're doing that, to share what the board has been doing to take this piece on. So I thank you for coming out and speaking, and you can always email us with concerns. I know we've had exchanged some emails, and I appreciate you coming out tonight, so thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to speak? Mr. Grant?
Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Ballone. Thank you for everything you just said. Much appreciated. Looks like a beautiful step in the right direction. Always good to have proper education and make sure that we don't end up in bad situations. But I'm gonna keep coming over here and keep repeating an email that I sent to Mr. Ballone that I never really got a good response for. No matter how much we educate, mistakes will happen, and the question is what's gonna happen when mistakes do happen, and how do you deter young children from doing what they're not supposed to do? Well, they know that they're not supposed to do it. If you're gonna treat them as if it's not a big deal, they're gonna keep doing it over and over and over and over again. It's just as simple as that. It's human nature. It's who we are as children. We used to be children. We used to be the same way. You tell a child not to do something, they're gonna try to do it anyhow. They're gonna push the envelope. They're gonna see what happens, how far you can take it. Where is the point where I cross the line? Only when they know that they crossed the line, they face consequences. They're not going to do it again. So we had a situation where a young lady came over here and noted that she was treated, and her friends were also treating in ways of hatred towards Jews in schools. Statements such as how great of a man Hitler was. Heil Hitler. We love Hitler. During her class speech about anti-Semitism, this young lady was laughed at and made fun of while students chose Nazi salutes. Where were the teachers? Did anyone speak to the teacher? Why did the teacher allow for that to happen? Why wasn't it stopped? Students called to gas the Jews and go back to gas chambers, also called her a dirty Muppet Jew. That particular student was considered for a conflict manager award. Mr. Ballone, I'm going to ask again, is he the type of students that Marlboro Township Public School produces under your reign, under your leadership? Ms. Milwaukee is not here. I would ask her the same question. Is this the type of student body that she's producing? Is this the future that we're building over here in the United States? Now, my children, a lot of you know me. Some of you more than some know me personally. My children will not be going to Marlboro School and treated in any way that was listed over here. And if it does happen, I will do it for the rest of the community, and I will flex the law in every possible way and challenge it to find a way to hold people accountable. Because it's not enough to learn and educate. There also has to be consequences when something happens. And when there is no consequences, we have a Mr. Ballon that looks great in a suit, but doesn't get things done.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. Does anybody else want to speak? Wait, can you come to the mic and just state your name, please?
Yes, Vladimir Chertok. I'm just wondering, is there a record that you keep of all the incidents that were just mentioned throughout the year or over the years?
Mr. Ballone, I don't know the answer to that one.
Yes, we keep records in accordance with our student code of conduct policy, and we also keep HIV reports.
Would you be able to answer how many of those incidents occurred this year?
I don't have that in front of me.
But assuming you keep records, that record exists. So
Sure.
it would be nice to know if you see any trend, if you see increase in those incidents over the years, and we're talking about if you keep it this year, hopefully you kept it last year and the year before. And not only anti-Semitism, I'm sure you need to keep records for any type of discrimination. So I'm pretty sure the records will show huge increase in those occurrences. The reason you keep records is to be able to gauge and act upon them. There is no action. So what's the point of keeping record? Just for formality? And this is exactly what Moshe was talking about. We're just doing formal things. We don't really mean to do anything for real. And that's what I think we should really change. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, please.
I'm going to keep it simple.
Just state your name, please, sir.
My name is Steve Stander.
Thank you.
I'm going to keep it very, very simple. In society, we have a check and balance. Deterrent is what prevents society from losing their get out of control. In our country right now is out of control. Somebody asked me recently, what's going on at our universities? I said, New York City. They said, well, what could we do to stop it? I said, arrest one of those protesters that crosses the line and don't just give him a parking ticket and release him 30 seconds later. Let him spend the day at Rikers Island. See if he'd like to go back and spend another day at Rikers Island. What I'm saying is we have no will. We have no deterrence. We let people, we let kids, we let everybody go unchecked. And that's a huge problem. And it has to, somebody's got to stand up. Somebody's got to start right now. Otherwise, we're going to lose everything. Thank you.
Again, I just want to say thank you for coming out and speaking. I always want to draw people's attention to some of the policies that are out there that we're going to look at again, just to make sure that you all know, because there are, some of you mentioned repercussions. The piece that the board has in place is the policies have grids. You'll see in their harassment, intimidation, or bullying, and code of conduct, you'll see that there's some pieces in case people were wondering what happens if, and I know that there's some things that you're all asking. I just want to make sure that everybody knew, but we'll keep updating the community. Like I said before, I could speak to the board piece of our progress and the things we've done along the way, just to make sure that you all know, and we're always open to hearing feedback. So I appreciate you all coming out and sharing and you know, kind of speaking your piece, so thank you. Does anybody else want to come out and speak? Okay. There'll be another round of public comments if you'd like to. And so with that, I'm going to motion to close public comments. Do I have a second? Ashley? All in favor? Any opposed? Discussion? Okay. Thank you. Okay, first one is meeting dates. So the upcoming meeting is July 16th and Tuesday, August 20th. They're both regular meetings. Okay, approval of minutes resolution. Aditi. I'll come back to it.
Approval of minutes resolution, Secretary of Business Administrator's report, Board Secretary's monthly certification,
No.
payroll certification, no?
Mrs. Gandhi, we're just approving the number one approval of minutes for March 5th.
Okay, sorry,
That's okay. Page 4.
that's what I'm on, okay, so just approval of minutes resolutions, so I so move.
Do I have a second? Ashley, any discussion? Okay.
Mrs. Seward?
Yes.
Mrs. Belomo?
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Mr. Alonsky?
Yes.
Mrs. McCormack?
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mendez?
Yes. Okay, we're now going to go to the presentation on the 2024-2025 school year breakfast program.
Okay. All right, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Everybody hear me? Okay. I have a very monotone voice. I'll try to speak louder. Sorry. So I just wanted to give the board and the community an update. We received correspondence from the Department of Agriculture regarding a program that we need to install for the 24-25 school year. So I'm just going to read a little portion of the letter before we get into just a small presentation just to give you an overview of what the next steps are. So we received this letter in the fall, and it was per New Jersey law that public elementary schools in which 10% or more of the enrolled students are federally eligible for free and reduced price meals by October 1st of each school year shall establish a school breakfast program for the following school year. They received data from us that showed that one of our schools has a 10% or more student eligible for free and reduced price meals category, so we actually have to offer the breakfast program for Defino Elementary School starting in September of 2024. So we just wanted to prepare something for the board just to give you basically an overview of how that's going to work and what our plan is going forward for the Marlboro School District. So when we submitted our plan, we worked with Vinnie Palmero. We are going to offer a program that's basically called Before the Bell, and it's basically going to be a point of sale. So it's going to happen before the actual school day. So as you know, we're part of the school lunch program. So similar to the school breakfast program, in order to be part of that program, you have to offer certain types of food. Ones that include more whole grains, has to be more fat-free and low-fat dairy, more fruits and vegetables. You usually have to pick at least 3 to make that a whole meal. Fewer refined grains, of course, fewer desserts and snacks, and then also the beverages are usually milk or 100% juice. So again, Chartwell's helped put this together, and eventually we would like to put this out to the whole school district, but we feel that it's smart enough to just pilot in one school that is required right now, just to make sure that the process that we put forward is the most seamless transition to offering such a program. Some of the things the breakfast program does is it does improve academic performance. Studies have shown when students do eat breakfast that maybe do not have access to it, it shows that they've actually had improved academics throughout the school day. The health and the nutrition associated with the breakfast, and also there has been studies shown to have the behavioral and emotional well-being improve of a student who may come to school with a breakfast rather than not have a breakfast. Now this is new territory for Marlboro School District, but it is something that is required, so just bear with me. So the next slide is just going to show you basically just a sample menu for a hot breakfast menu. As you can see, there's going to be things that are offered, such as, you probably can't see, but I'll just read it. So waffles, apple juice, yogurt. On other days, there'll be egg and cheese sandwiches or apple slices, turkey sausage, egg, and cheese, and there also are going to be options for vegetarian, kosher, any religious accommodations that need to be made. We do that very well here with the lunch program. Again, this is just, that was the cold breakfast menu, and that's really because basically you're just going to have cold options such as bagels, rolls, muffins. It'll have Cheerios, any types of cereal that you may look for. And then here are the logistics. So basically, we're looking at Frank DeFino's breakfast beginning at 7:50 a.m., making it about 30 minutes long. Breakfast will be consumed and served in the school cafeteria. So one of the options that we looked at was to have it in the classroom, and that is something we wanted to stay away from. We'd rather have it, open up early before the school day starts. Anybody that wants to come and have breakfast in that program, they would just have to be dropped off. So there'll be no transportation, and it's not required to provide either for students that want to have breakfast. So they would be required to be dropped off at the main entrance, and they'll be escorted to the cafeteria. Students who proceed to the cafeteria, whether you're free and reduced lunch eligible, you'll get your breakfast, or if you'd like to come and just pay for breakfast, maybe be dropped off early, you are allowed to be part of that as well. And then after breakfast is over, the students would be escorted to the first part of their day, so their classroom. So this is actually of no cost to us. It's going to be $0 labor, because we're going to utilize Chartwell's and the staff they already have built in, because they're staff that are there early on already. We did look at maybe possibly offering the form of a stipend of somebody, or maybe a Chartwell's employee that wanted to come in and just to monitor the students while they are eating their breakfast and then get them to their classroom. Again, this is just some of the things that Chartwell's does well. These are some of the things that they offer. So they do scratch and batch cooking. They use certain ingredients from certain sources. You'll see that on the next slide. Seasonal menus, they're constantly changing. We constantly look at data to derive the best menu possible, so every month is a different menu. Excuse me. And those are some of the other things that they participate as well, just different culinary experiences for the students. So you can see those are just some of the brands that they utilize in the cafeteria. Okay, so just basically an overview. I know this is fun stuff, so keep with me. Just number one, breakfast starts at Frank DeFino, possibly around 9:04. I think it might be 9:03. So the first day of school would run through the whole school year. Number two, we're going to offer the cold breakfast option first to see how that fares, because we want to see if there's going to be any enrollment or even any participation in the program to begin with. And then we'll offer a hot breakfast if there actually is a large participation. And that leads to the next one. If there is successful participation, our plan is to let's talk about it. Our plan is to offer it to all schools to make it equitable across the board, whether it's required or not by the Department of Agriculture, so everybody has an option for breakfast around the district. But for right now, we feel like 24, 25, let's just do the school that's required, and then after that, if it is a success and it is a seamless transition, we can go to every school. So let's talk about it. That actually made me hungry, sorry.
Can I hop in? Can I ask a hypothetical? Just because I'm thinking about the children that would be eligible not having a ride to school and having to rely on busing. I know this is the pilot program and there's going to be trial and error, but have you considered like a grab and go option for the classroom? Maybe something that's not as messy or not as complicated, just a few pieces of fruit, or maybe, a muffin, something that they could get when they get off the bus before they head to the classroom, just so that they can benefit from the breakfast program, but not miss out if they can't get dropped off. I'm just thinking about like the working parents that rely on busing, things like that.
So that's something that we did discuss, and one of the options I think we chose to go this route right now is because there's a couple of things. One, really just trying to preserve not really impacting instruction time. So when children are eating in the classroom and the teachers may be trying to teach, that may cause for, a little disruption when it comes to maybe focusing on what they're trying to learn or what assignment they're doing. The other one was the mess. I know, unfortunately, that's their work environment. We don't really want to, now put food in there, and then there could be messes or things that need to be cleaned up during the actual school day. that may impact their work environment and the learning environment of the kids. So if it does pan out to be that much more of a seamless transition that way, that would be a larger discussion we would have with the principals, and of course just, you know, get the lay of the land and the feel of what it would look like in the classroom. But for right now, we want to try to stay away from that method.
Vinny, I have a question. Who's opening the doors for the students in the morning? Like who's?
So there is going to be someone there that is assigned for breakfast duty, whether it's be a stipend that's posted internally or it's going to be through Chartwell's. So that's something that we're working on, but that's how that's going to work.
Can I was going to ask the same question, but that should be a security officer. Those are our kids coming into our building before school starts. There are kids that come into our school. Why would we not have one of our security people there?
Because we want to make sure that they're certified to be with
No,
children
one of our
also.
security people at the door, like we would have during the normal school day. When the buses come, we have a security person.
Well,
there.
security is required per their contract to be there anyway, I believe 15 minutes or 30 minutes prior to the start of school. So they will be there during the breakfast program. It'll overlap.
As long as they're there the whole time, so set 30 minutes before.
That we can get them there the extra 15 minutes. That's not an issue, but then that, again, is associated with a cost. But they're there 15 minutes prior to the start of the school day. It's required for each one of their buildings.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if our kids are coming into the building for us, 30 minutes before the school day, it shouldn't be if can, maybe, should be we just need to do that. That's my,
Right, so you said you're going to look at the timing, right? You said they'll overlap, so you're going to just make sure that, I guess you're saying you're going to follow up to make sure that they're there the whole time, correct?
Yeah, that's not an issue. If we require them to be there 30 minutes, then they're there for 30 minutes. It's what we have to do, but
That's what you're looking for, right?
unfortunately, this program is required by law, so we're going to have to do it, but we can accommodate it however we want the program to look. But they are there for 15 minutes already. We would just have to pay for the extra 15 minutes for them to be there.
Yeah. Good point, Michael. Any other thoughts, questions? Okay. Your mic, Katie.
So if we don't have enough enrollment, do we still by law have to do it?
We will until they would tell us otherwise, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. And then for the other schools, I know it's not required right now, but if we're going to roll it out,
So it would be 25, 26 that we would look to do other schools. And the reason we want to be proactive is because we've already gotten wind that by 25, 26, I know the state is trying to make it almost universally free and reduced where you'd have to offer both programs anyway. So we were just trying to be proactive and also be equitable to everybody because we don't know everybody's situation. And just because it's 10% in one school doesn't mean there's other students that,
Would this be interfering with the Y before care, and how are they going to keep that separate?
So anybody who participates in the Y, we've already discussed with them, they would just bring them actually to the cafeteria to get something, and then they would go back under their care, or they can eat there and then go back under their care.
Anybody else? Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was interesting, by the way. You said it wouldn't. It was. Okay. Mr. Balone, Communications,
I have none.
and HIB.
This is the HIB report from the period May 2024 through June 13th, 2024, 3 incidents reported.
Thank you. And the Secretary of Business Administrators report?
Yep, these are the reports for the ending month of May 2024.
Thank you. Moving on to committee reports. Mr. Alonsky, Safety and Security.
no, we had conflicts, we were not able to meet, so we're going to come up with a date before the next meeting we're going to meet.
Thank you. For the Policy Committee, we met, we discussed there's a couple of policies that are up. We had some deep discussion, though, on other policies that we're going to look at over the summer, as I mentioned before, but up tonight are 0133 and 0174, which is legal services. Next Policy Committee meeting is June 20th. We did have now an update for organization matters. And so we were talking about a motion, so I would just like to motion for number 1, which is the board attorney, to put the law firm of Kenny, Gross, Kovac, and Parton in as the Marlboro Township Board of Education attorney. And and then for number 2, the board attorney for special education matters, that would be the law firm of Machado Law Group. Kenny, Gross, Kovac, and Parton would be at $155 per hour, and the Machado Law Group for special education matters would be $175 per hour. Do I have a second? Ashley? Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Bellomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Mr. Olonsky?
I have to abstain from 1 and 2 due to conflict.
Thank you. Mrs. Seward?
Yes.
Mrs. McCormack?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mendez?
Yes. Okay, so now we're on to page 6, financial and business operations matters. Chad?
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, transfers. 2, list of bills. 3, secretary monthly reconciliation reports. 4, travel. 5, harassment, intimidation, bullying, HIB report. 6, approval of MTS safe return plans. 7, security drills. 8, aware of bid Chromebooks. 9, award of bid Chromebooks. 9, award of bid Chromebook cases. 10, policy of Public Law 2015, Chapter 47. 11, end of year transfers. 12, American Red Cross. 13, lead testing statements of assurance. 14, Somerset County Cooperative Purchase, custom Bandag Incorporated for tires and tire-related services for the 2024-2025 school year. 15, ESCNJ contract purchase, Allegiance Trucks DBA Mid-Atlantic Truck Center for repair parts for buses and vans for the 2024-2025 school year. 16, Sourcewell contract purchase, Simplex Grinnell Johnson's Controls Incorporated for fire alarm repairs, burglar alarm repairs, and related services for the 2024-2025 school year. 17, ESCNJ and ED data contract purchase, Allied Fire and Safety Equipment Company Incorporated for fire sprinkler repairs and related services for the 2024-2025 school year. ESCNJ contract purchase. Number 18, ESCNJ contract purchase, Spruce Industries for custodial supplies and related services for the 2024-2025 school year. 19, ESCNJ contract purchase, AME Incorporated building maintenance systems for maintenance and related services for the 2024-2025 school year. I apologize, there's a lot here. 20, ESCNJ contract purchase, inline air conditioner and HVAC repairs for related services for the 2024-2025 school year. 21, Sourcewell contract purchase, Flooring Concepts of New Jersey LLC for the Patchcraft Shaw carpet flooring covering and related services for the 2024-2025 school year. Omnia Partners, Home Depot Pro for maintenance, supplies, and related services for the 2024-2025 school year. 23, award of bid 2024 paving improvements at various locations. 24, transfer of current year supplies and maintenance reserve and capital reserve accounts. 25, approval of 2024-2025 school year breakfast and lunch prices. 26, approval of agreement with the Township of Marlboro for the turf ball field at Marlboro Middle School. 27, award of proposal, special education related educational services. 28, approval of agreement, Oxford Consulting Services Incorporated, ESY. Approval of agreement, Oxford Consulting Services Incorporated, ESY. 30, approval of agreement, MJW Physical Therapy LLC, ESY. 31, approval of agreement, ESY Summer Speech Therapy Services. 32, approval of agreement, ESY Summer Physical Therapy Services, MJW Physical Therapy LLC. Approval of agreement, Summer Physical Therapy Evaluations, MJW Physical Therapy LLC. 34, approval of agreement with Bayada Home Healthcare Incorporated for the provision of nursing services for case number 936 for the 2024-2025 school year. 35, approval of agreement with Bayada Home Health Services Incorporated for provisioning of nursing service for case 972 for the 2024-2025 school year. 36, approval of agreement with Bayada Home Healthcare for the provision of substitute nursing services for the 2024-2025 school year. Approval of agreement ESY Summer Occupational Therapy Services, All Care Therapy Services. 36, out-of-district placements for the 2024-2025 school year. 39, approval of contract with Marlboro Township for police officers for the 2024-2025 school year. 40, approval of agreement with Marlboro Township for school resource officer for 2024-2025 school year. 41, renewal of district insurance policies for the 24-25 school year. 42, approval of facilities use fee schedule. 43, extension of contract, comprehensive joint custodial services. 44, recognition of educational foundation. 45, recognition of parent organizations. 46, memorandum of agreement, Marlboro Township head custodians. 47, approval of agreement with JMI Enterprises LLC for the 24-25 school year. 48, New Jersey contract purchase, winner Ford for purchase of a Ford truck for the 2024-2025 school year. Approval of agreement, Summit Speech School. 50, home instruction. 51, out-of-district placements for the 2023-2024 school year. 52, I am not almost there. 52, ESC NJ contract purchase, Wolfington Body Company for the pair of parts and buses and vans for the 24-25 school year. 53, amended resolution ESC NJ and PEPPM contract purchase, turnkey technology, turnkey security supplies and services for the 23-24 school year. 54, ESC NJ PEPPM and NJ contract purchase, turnkey technologies for technology and security supplies and services for the 24-25 school year. Approval of agreement, All Care Therapy Services. 56, New Jersey State Contracting. That's the last one, purchases.
That was great. You just have to say, I so move.
I hear my move. I so move.
That was a lot, and that was awesome. Thank you, Chad. Do I have a second? Aditi. Any discussion?
So number 30 is just there's going to be a slight correction. So approval of agreement for MJW Physical Therapy LLC, ESY. The hour rate of 110 should be changed to 150, and so the total amount not to exceed should be changed from $1,980 to $2,700.
Thank you.
I have a question to discussion. 26, does Township, did they offer the turf field to us, or did we ask Township for assistance with that? Number 26, I'm sorry, it's the $1.5 million turf field.
What's your question? Sorry.
Did Township offer that to us, or did we ask Township for that?
They offered that to us through the grant initiative they've been approved for.
Awesome. And then is there any upkeep or special upkeep or additional funds? It just, I want to make sure we're good.
So after they complete the upgrade of the field in the back of the middle school, they will actually relinquish control to us. So we'll be able to rent it out or have a part of our facility use, but then the upkeep and the maintenance is on us. It would be our field.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Paloma?
Yes to all, abstain from 4.
Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
I think you're on. Are you on for number 4? For
So
travel?
So for school boards, if anybody is on number 4, just abstain to your name only. Yep.
That, so for me only.
So yes to all but number 4, because I'm traveling. So abstain just for myself only.
Oh, add number 5. I abstained
Wait,
from number 5.
45.
Sorry.
45.
45.
Right, so Danielle,
Right,
Vinny.
so we're going to restart roll call real quick.
Please, yeah.
Good idea.
So if you're traveling for school boards in October and you're on number 4 for travel, just abstain from that vote. Because if it applies to you, if you're on there, okay? And then if you're, wait, And if you're on a PTO or PTA and you're up here, you have to abstain from the recognition.
45 it is.
45, okay? Just putting that out there. Okay, so
Okay,
we'll start over.
Roll call vote. Mrs. Belomo.
Yes to all, abstain from 4 for myself and 45.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Gandhi.
Yes to all, abstain from 4 for myself.
Thank you. Mr. Olansky.
Yes.
Mrs. Seward.
Yes to all, abstain from number 4 for myself.
Thank you. Mrs. McCormack.
Yes to all, abstain from number 4 for myself, and abstain from number 45.
Okay. Mr. Hyatt.
Yes to all, abstain, number 4 for myself.
Thank you. And Mrs. Mendez.
Yes to all, abstaining from number 4 for myself and number 45 for myself with the PTA.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, personnel matters. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong page. Curriculum matters. Ashley?
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolution for approval. 1, interscholastic athletic competitions, fall sports, 24-25 school year. I so move.
Have a second? Aditi. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Hyatt.
Yes.
Mr. Olansky.
Yes.
Mrs. Seward.
Yes.
Mrs. Belomo.
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi.
Yes.
Mrs. McCormack.
Yes.
And Mrs. Mendez.
Yes. Okay, with personnel matters, just before we get to it, there's an addendum that you would have received. I think it was in the front. It's regarding, it's actually number 52. It's a resignation that we just received, an official written resignation this morning. And so that's why you'll have that addendum there for you now. So I just wanted to remind the board members that number 52 is there now too. So that's what you're also voting on. Okay, so with that, personnel matters. Michael?
Personnel matters. Superintendent of schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, retirements. 2, resignations. 3, employment principal. 4, employment certificated staff. 5, employment instructional assistants. 6, head custodians and night custodial services, 24-25 school year. 7, reassignment certificated staff. 8, transfer non-certificated staff. 9, transfer reassignment amended salary non-certificated staff. 10, amended extracurricular activities advisors. 11, curriculum writing ELA, revised curriculum guides K through 5. 12, curriculum writing ELA, revised honors 6 through 8. 13, stipend additional duties, confidential administrative assistant. 14, nurse substitute caller stipend. 15, lead counsel stipend. 16, lead nurse stipend. 17, lead mental health stipend. 18, extracurricular activities advisors. 19, teacher Saturday school discipline program. 20, assistant Saturday school discipline program. 21, substitute assistant Saturday school discipline. 22, after school detention. 23, substitute after school detention. 24, summer nurse work, sports physicals, documentation, and protocols. 25, summer nurse work, review of allergy and medication documentation. 26, child study team evaluations and meetings. 27, teacher summer IEP meetings. 28, 2024 extended school year program certificated staff. 29, 2024 extended school year program for students with special needs, Wilson reading teacher. 30, 2024 extended school year program for students with special needs, Wilson reading teacher. 31, 2024 extended school year program, instructional assistants. 31. 32, 2024 extended school year special education program, substitute certificated staff. 33, 2024 extended school year special education program, substitute instructional assistants. 34, that's it, yeah, 33, 34. 2024 extended school year program, school monitor. 35, 2024 extended school year special education program substitute school monitors. 36, 2024 summer work bus drivers. 37, 2024 summer work bus assistant. 38, 2024 summer work substitute bus driver. 39, 2024 summer work substitute bus assistants. 40, 2024 summer work substitute couriers. 41, summer substitute secretaries. 42, transportation department. 43, substitute teachers. 44, substitute nurse. 45, substitute instructional assistants. 46, substitute school monitors. 47, substitute bus drivers. 48, substitute bus attendants. 49, paid medical disability leave. 50, unpaid leave of absence. 51, amended resolution leave dates. And number 52, resignation. I so move.
Thank you, Michael. Do I have a second? I do have, any discussion? Okay, roll call.
So just a read-in. So number 38, 2024 summer work substitute bus drivers. So we're just going to add a name. The name is going to be Michael Goldberg, and it's going to be at the same rate listed, so the $27 per hour.
And this is for, what was the title of that?
Number 38, 2024 summer work substitute bus drivers.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Hyatt,
Yes.
Mrs. McCormack,
Yes.
Mrs. Seward,
Yes.
Mrs. Bellomo,
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi,
Yes.
Mr. Olansky,
Yes.
and Mrs. Mendez.
Yes. Do you have retirement comments, I believe?
I do. I have two retirement comments. The first one is for Marie Galtieri. Marie Galtieri began her career in Marlboro Township Public Schools in 2007 and will end her career here with over 17 years of service. She was hired by Dr. John Shutman and has served under 3 separate principals and numerous vice principals. In her role as the main office secretary of Marlboro Elementary School, she has taken on numerous other responsibilities beyond her job description, including being the first face you see when coming into our school, being the first voice you hear when calling our school, assisting our students as they arrive and they have had a rough morning, assisting our students heading home early when they aren't feeling well. She's at the heart of the building and always has had her finger on the pulse of the school community. She is a resource to students, parents, and staff. Mrs. Galtieri has left her mark on our school through the day-to-day operations and interactions with thousands of faces over the course of her career. Her care for our students and eye for detail has not gone unnoticed and is a part of what makes our school community so special. When asked about her favorite part of the job, her mind always goes to the people and how they have shared their lives together throughout the years. In her retirement, she plans to spend time with her grandchildren and would love to make it to Italy at some point. We thank her for her service and wish her well. And the final retirement comment for the evening is for Nancy Lewenthal. Nancy Lewenthal began her career in Marlboro Township Public Schools in January of 2002 and will be retiring with almost 23 years of service to the district and 27 in the field of education. She was hired by Linda Attanasio and Dr. Sandy Morris, serving under numerous administrators in the following schools: Dugan, DeFino, Marlboro Early Learning Center, and finally, Marl. Throughout these years, she has taught students with special needs in our district as a teacher of special education. In particular, Nancy started in the POP program and since has spent a significant amount of time teaching resource room classes in the primary grades, where she has tirelessly guided our younger students to become readers and learners as they gain increased independence. A particular point of pride that she noted was having spoken at several national conferences for special education over the course of her career. Most recently, Nancy took on a leadership role as the chairperson of the School Culture and Climate Committee. In this role, she led students and colleagues to collaborate on numerous projects throughout the school year with a focus on the betterment of the school community. Her favorite part of teaching is when former students reach out to her to let her know how successful they have become later in life and how her role in their life has made a direct impact. She has mentored several teachers and instructional assistants throughout her career and views this as paying it forward to the profession. Mrs. Lewenthal notes that looking back at her career, she cannot recall having one bad day. In her retirement, she plans to travel to spend time with her children who do not live close to home. We are hopeful that she remains eager to come back in her spare time to be with us as a substitute teacher because she has so much still left to give to the kids. Thank you, Nancy. One other thing I'd like to mention, she was here, but she's not here, Mrs. Lewenthal. She came and personally met me over at the board office and had such nice things to say about our school district and was so grateful to work here. So Nancy, I'm sure you'll see this at some point on the recording. I appreciate that conversation. Thank you for your kind words. And again, best wishes in your retirement.
Thank you. God, I was just going to say one thing.
You want to say it? Go.
I don't know what you were going to say. I was just going to welcome.
That's what I was going to do.
I was just going to welcome and congratulate Anthony Giratano, the new principal of Robertsville Elementary. It was nice meeting you earlier, and we look forward to the work that you're going to do in Robertsville. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Were you going to say something else, Michael?
Ditto.
We were going to say the same thing. Awesome. Okay. Okay. Danielle, Policy Development and Community Relations.
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, second reading. 2, first reading. I so move.
A second? Aditi. Any discussion? Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Mr. Olansky?
Yes.
Mrs. McCormack?
Yes.
Mrs. Seward?
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
Mrs. Palomo?
Yes.
And Mrs. Mendez?
Yes. Okay, moving on to the liaison reports. Freehill Regional, Chad?
I don't have an extensive, I do have actually one quick update. I think I said during the last meeting that they were going to vote whether or not to take the tax levy cap increase, but I believe they're still waiting on guidance from the New Jersey Department of Education on how to proceed that. So I said last meeting they were going to have a vote last month on that. It's my understanding they haven't had that vote yet because they're waiting on that guidance. So it's still up in the air in terms of that, but otherwise, no update.
Great, thank you. MEF, Annette?
Nothing to report.
Michael, Marlboro Township?
National Night Out. Marlboro Police will again hold the annual National Night Out on August 6th and are looking forward for businesses to participate. It's a great opportunity to showcase your business. Giveaways, crafts, games, samples, flyers are all welcome. Note no items for sale are permitted and there is no fee to participate. For more info, please email nationalnightout@marlboropd.org. Marlboro Day. Our 40th annual Marlboro Day will be held on September 8th, and sponsor and vendor opportunities are available now. Don't wait as this event fills quickly. Marlboro Day welcomes thousands of visitors and is a great opportunity to promote your business. Farmers Market, open on Father's Day from 9 to 1. Come by and get all your barbecue needs. Well, past, but they're open now for the summer. Summer concerts and fireworks. Save the date, Sunday, July 7th, at the Recreation Amphitheater will be the fireworks. Marlboro High School graduation. Marlboro seniors and their families will be celebrating their milestone along with Freehill Regional High School students on Thursday, June 20th. Please avoid the area from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. to allow graduates and their families access. Juneteenth. Federal offices, post offices, and Monmouth County offices will be closed on June 19th. The State Motor Vehicle Commission, courts, offices, and offices will be closed on Friday, June 21st in observance. Marlboro Township will observe regular operating hours. JCP&L Helicopter Patrol. Beginning approximately June 12th, Chesapeake Bay helicopters begin performing routine patrols on all JCP&L transmission lines. Details and flyers on these other events are sent via email, and those are registered on the website as well.
Thank you. Monmouth County School Boards is, Aldo's not here. So, NJSBA, Danielle?
Nothing to report.
Okay, moving on to the PTA, PTO liaison. Aldo's not here for Asher. So we'll move to Abbott for Chad.
Yeah, I'll give Mr. Perno's update, which includes some PTO activities. So throughout the month, they were pretty busy. They had concerts, art shows, picnics. I think it's all in the spirit to celebrate the year coming to a close. Field day was May 30th. They had perfect weather, so that was good. And I think everyone knows what field day is, but the students got to do a variety of games and activities and things like that outside. Kindergarten students went to Robertsville and Asher on June 3rd. They came back confident that they're ready for the first grade, so that's good. Walk for Change was June 10th. I think you guys all saw that at the beginning of the meeting. They raised money for Scope. Raised money for Scope. And then they had a magic show, which was sponsored by the PTO on June 12th. And I hear the students absolutely loved the performance. And they are getting ready for summer, so I won't have an update probably until they're back in school. That's what I got.
Wonderful, thank you. Defino, Aditi?
Defino just had their field day yesterday, and it was a huge success, as it is every year. June 19th, which is tomorrow, they're doing their ice cream social for all Defino families from 1:30 to 3 p.m. Siblings and parents are welcome. June 20th is the 5th grade yearbook signing party, and that's it.
Thank you. Dugan, Danielle?
The students and their families enjoyed the science fair that was held on May 30th. Jason Lindsay, aka Mr. Science, put on a fantastic assembly both during the school day and before the start of the science fair that everyone enjoyed. It was an enjoyable evening of doing experiments and seeing some projects done by the Dugan students. The evening ended with Mr. Seibert blasting off a rocket on the blacktop, which everyone loved seeing. Field day was yesterday, and it was such a fun time for all the students. They got to enjoy many different activities, including races, games, and inflatables. Thank you so much to all the volunteers who helped make the day such a great success. We definitely have a friend in you. School toolkits will be available for purchase for the upcoming school year. Emails will be sent with information, so please continue to check your email throughout the summer for purchasing information. Our 5th graders had a wonderful time enjoying their last month at Dugan with many activities. They had their 5th grade dance, and the Black Bear picnic on May 29th was a huge success, and all the kids had a wonderful time. Thank you to all of our parent volunteers who helped at the picnic. The 5th graders also got to enjoy the Kona ice treat this morning. All the kids enjoyed the treat on this hot day. Class parties will be tomorrow, June 19th, for all grades. Class parents can see the e-blast sent on Sunday for the party time for each grade. We wish everyone a wonderful and safe summer, and congratulations to the 5th graders and good luck in middle school. The PTO is looking forward to an exciting school year next year, and look out for our playground play dates over the summer. And thank you to Robin, who always prepares these beautiful liaison reports.
Thank you. Dr. Miskowitz is not here from RL, so Michael will move to Marlboro Middle School. I'm sorry, let me backtrack.
Okay.
Robertsville, Ashley, and then we'll come to the middle schools.
Hello, summer. Robertsville PTO is closing out our 23-24 year strong. We successfully brought back our Parents' Night Out event, formerly LNO, on May 29th, held at the Grand Marquis. With over 150 baskets to raffle off, a 50-50, a mock blackjack table, and wonderful support from our local businesses who generously donated our prizes. A special thank you to all the staff, the teachers, and the community members who attended. Field Day was one of our favorite days of the year, and it was a hit. Held on June 7th, the kids bounced in a massive American Ninja Warrior bounce house, danced the morning away with our host DJ Miles, played tug of war, and cooled off at our water station. This day, this year, was a little different, though, at Robertsville. Instead of wearing blue versus gold t-shirts, we all wore blue as one. The design of this year's Field Day t-shirt was extra special. It was in honor of Kylie Jo Williams. The t-shirt had a small heart with the letter K in it. The gesture served as a reminder of our collective support and serves as a symbol that we are all thinking of the Williams family and their loss. Robertsville is truly fortunate to have a teacher as dedicated and as caring as Mr. Williams. His commitment to our students is evident, and we are grateful for the positive impact he's had on their lives. Today, we are proud to announce that we sold over 350 t-shirts and raised $1,675 that will be donated to MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, in Kylie Joe's memory. Sorry. Whew. It was incredible, and it was incredible to see all of the kids together and all the staff. We continue to celebrate the smiles throughout the building with our final pretzel sale. Our fifth graders held their moving up ceremony and ended the day with a yearbook signing in the afternoon, filled with their friends and their fifth grade support staff. How could we not mention also the visit from Goldie's ice cream truck to sweeten their day? Just when you think we couldn't celebrate more at Robertsville, we always do. We squeezed in our last school store and pretzel sale last week, finishing up the last week of school with our year-end class parties. Thank you so much to all the class parents for making this week a memorable way to start summer. Our last and final Stock the Fridge was changed to a catered lunch by Mr. Stubbs for all the staff and teachers on Monday, June 17th. Please join us tomorrow from 5 to 7 at Rita's Ice in Manalapan for our surprise celebrity scoops. You never know who may be serving you. This will serve as our June dine out. Open board positions we posted this week. Be on the lookout if you're interested in being a volunteer in any capacity. Please contact Jacqueline Mazzarello directly at mazzarellojpto@gmail.com. A very special save the date, July 9th, we'll be hosting our July dine out at Jersey Freeze in honor of our beloved Mrs. Sturgis. Please spread the word and join us as we celebrate the happy memories at her favorite summer dessert spot. Everyone have a wonderful summer. Love always, the Robertsville PTO.
Awesome. It's nice to hear about the shirt sale. I think that was very meaningful. Thank you. Michael, MMS.
Sportsmanship, academic, and community service award ceremonies were held in June. Special thank you to the PTO and parents who have supported the school year, ending with ice cream treats for everyone. The 8th grade dance was a huge success. The students had a great time. Shout out to the chaperones and PTO who planned an amazing event. Congratulations to the 8th grade class on a wonderful graduation ceremony today. It was really great. Both ceremonies were great today. The 8th grade dance took place last week at the Grand Marquis. We had 300 students attend, and the kids had a blast. They danced the night away and had so much fun with the DJs, activities, and photo booths. There were tons of giveaways, prizes, and favors. The kids wrapped up the night with an ice cream sundae bar and cotton candy. Special thanks to 8th grade committee members who worked hard over the last 6 months to plan and ensure these kids made memories that last a lifetime. On Wednesday, June 12th, all 8th graders received a keepsake blanket. The blanket features a logo that captures each student's first name. Congratulations and best of luck to our graduates. PTO will be providing ice cream treats for all students tomorrow. The teachers will take students outside for yearbook signings, weather permitting, and let them pick a sweet treat. Many thanks to MMS families for their fundraising efforts throughout the year. Your support allows us to give back to our kids, staff, and school, and we are so grateful to the community. Looking forward to another great school year in September.
Awesome. Thank you. Marlboro Memorial. The conflict managers travel to Defino, Robertsville, and Asher to give transition lessons to the incoming 5th grade students. The second annual Memorial Marketplace was a huge success. Thank you to Miss DiDonato and Mr. Bucci for all of their hard work setting it up. MMS would also like to congratulate all of the graduates and wish them the best of luck. 8th graders had their picnic at the school, so it just changed from the swim club to the school, and they had some inflatables and all of that fun stuff. The PTA provided the photo booth for students to take pictures. The 8th grade dance at the Grand Marquis was a success. The students seemed to have a great time. They just put up the last of the birthday gram, so sales will start again in the new school year. Also finalizing the gym mats for the wall of the gym, just waiting on the proof. The PTA has also purchased items for a Zen room for student services and a laminator as well. They're also working on the purchase of 2 lunch tables. The PTA had their new elections for the new board because 3 of the previous board members have retired from the board after being on there for 3 to 4 years. They wish the new board all the best in the new school year, And the new board is looking forward to a great 2024-2025 school year. I do just want to say that we did get to attend the graduations today, both of Marlboro Middle School and Marlboro Memorial at Brookdale. It was beautiful. Congratulations to the 8th grade students and families and their friends. They were just beautiful events. So thank you for having us board members there too. It was really nice to be there, and so I just thank you all for whoever could attend. So we just want to congratulate the graduates. You all did great. I know it's not easy. Middle school's, sometimes rough, so it's nice to get through that. Okay, so thank you for that. Moving back, we have scope is Aditi.
A heartfelt thank you to everyone involved in this year's events promoting disability awareness and acceptance, especially the 2024 Walk for Change. The Marlboro School District came together and raised over $7,000 through Scope t-shirt sales, district-wide Walk for Change events, Robertsville's Be Kind Decorating fundraiser, and Marlboro Elementary's Brick fundraiser. Your generosity will significantly support opportunities for our students in special education and inclusion initiatives throughout the district. The winning grades at each school are Asher Holmes, 5th grade, DAELC kindergarten, Defino, 2nd grade, Dugan, 4th grade, Marlboro Elementary, 3rd grade, Marlboro Middle School activities held, no funds raised, Marlboro Memorial Middle School, 6th grade, 6th grade, Robertsville, 2nd grade. These winning grades will receive a special treat courtesy of Chartwells. Thank you once again for your support and participation.
That's great. Thank you. And CPAC, you have that update?
I have CPAG. CPAG, it's short and sweet. Their last meeting is tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Thank you. And thanks for the updates. Great year with the liaisons, so I thank you so much for reaching out and working together in partnership with the schools and the different organizations. So thank you. Old business?
Yeah, I have something.
Yeah.
So Mr. Petruno had reached out to me, and as to Mr. Ballone as well, about the recent resolution passed at New Jersey school boards regarding elections in the school buildings, right?
All right, for the safety
So
piece,
I want to
yeah.
bring it back to the board. I agree with Mr. Petruno, myself, and he would like to bring it back to the board, and I would like to bring it back to the board discussion of getting the elections out of our buildings to get our school day back and for safety as well. I know Mr. Ballone has an update as well to add to this, and then I'll continue after. I think it's
Yeah,
important
can
to
we
hear.
I'm with you, right? And I know we discussed that before. I just want to circle back to remind people of what it was. So I believe that, I remember, right? Danielle, you had attended the NJ school boards, and Mr. Petruno was there as well, where they discussed the voting and the resolution at NJSBA, and it did pass at the NJSBA meeting regarding moving the voting locations out of the schools. I just wanted to remind everybody of that last conversation. And then Mr. Petruno had resurfaced it to Michael as part of the safety committee, and then now we have the update, correct? Or at least something, am I right?
We do. So I was instructed or suggested to contact Director Arnone's office initially to start that discussion. Just a little background, we tried twice with the Board of Elections in the past to move elections out of our schools, unsuccessfully. We actually had a community member who stepped forward and said she would assist, so I've been working with her as well. I did contact Director Arnone's office, and he just recently reported back that Mayor Hornick would have to request this through the Superintendent of Elections office. So I do have a call into him. I know between Mr. Lalansky and myself, we're going to connect with Mayor Hornick and follow the instructions of Director Arnone's office, and hopefully we can get this done. I know timing is really difficult. So will this happen for November? I can't say until we hear from them, but I agree. We shouldn't have strangers in our schools when we have students here. So, and that's why we have to close schools at this point. But if we can get those 2 days back onto our calendar, we will do everything in our power to do that.
Thank you. And thank you, Michael. Did you have a question, Annette?
No, I just was, like, reasonably, it's probably not going to happen for November, but I would really like to get June primary elections, like, really knock it out for next year. We have a year to get it done, but that's what we were just bickering about over here.
Thank you.
I have another old business.
Yeah.
I think it's old business. It was brought up in a public comment last meeting, and then there was also an email from a community member. It was regarding the cell phone usage and like the pledge. I was wondering if we could discuss this in executive more, or if anybody would like to discuss this in executive more.
I could just, I don't mind discussing it here, honestly,
Okay.
because
Can you just remind me, are you talking about cell phone usage of children in the schools from Mr.
Yeah, it was like a
Pollack?
pledge from Mr. Pollock.
Okay, sorry, just because sometimes I want to refresh where we are. So you're talking about his note, to his comment. Gotcha. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so I agree wholeheartedly, honestly, with the motion. I just feel like we might be a little too far gone. I've seen some social media activity of parents not being happy that their kids can't have phones. So I think that there's like that uphill battle as well, but I'm totally on board with some type of movement towards, you know, at the very least, cell phone free learning. My daughter goes to private high school, and if first offense, they get caught with their phones in school, they get it taken away for 24 hours. So they go home without it, they don't have it for 24 hours. Second offense is a monetary fine, they have to pay $25. Third offense is $25 increments, so $50, $75, and $100 offenses every time you get caught with your phone in school. So you're definitely onto something. I appreciate the support in the literature that you brought us. There's also just that flip side of society that feels their children are safer with phones. So bring on the flip phones.
And then I just want to clarify,
Tap to
you're
text.
talking about a different school that your daughter goes to, not a Marlboro school.
No, I said private.
Yes,
No,
private
I
school,
said private.
not a
We
monetary.
do have policy that says they cannot take their phone out during the day in school.
Right,
Use
we do
their
have
phones,
policy.
right?
I'm just
Yeah, of
wanted
course,
to
we just,
reiterate.
I
that
think
she's
that there
being-
was just a little hiccup for class trips. Kids were wearing smartwatches in lieu of their phones. So they could be tracked and communicate with their parents while on the class trip. So it's definitely something to be discussed, but I think you're right. It's a huge undertaking because of the comfort that parents feel giving their kids phones. So it's a double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah, and I have children that are older, and so I'm with you, right? I mean, cell phones and social media is, I think, the ruination of their mental health, and I'm with you on that one. Probably our own too, right? All
Yes.
joking aside, but I want to say, as a parent of older children, for me, I need them to have, for me to be able to contact them. They shouldn't be using it in school. Little different in high school, right, than the middle schools, but so I'm on the fence. But I hear you that there is a policy, to Mr. Lonsky's point, that they shouldn't be using the phone in school. So, but you brought a lot of good information to the table. But Ashley, go ahead, Michael.
That's just like we added vaping to the non-smoking policy, we can add watches use to the
Right.
to the phone
Yeah.
policy.
That's great. Yeah, we recently updated one of the code of conduct policies, or one of the student conduct policies that indicated we added social media posts, or the use of social media to it. So we could absolutely look at all electronic devices. To your point, we just recently added vaping. Sadly, it's a trend in society. And so we could definitely look at the smartwatch piece, at least to that as well, right? But did you want to add something else to that?
I guess I have both older and younger, and I kind of liked where he was going, where this literature was going, where the information was going, and I thought maybe communications could maybe put something out there, and if parents feel like they want to sign a pledge, they can go for it and see if it snowballs into something good. I don't know. I think that it is the demise of our younger students. Everything, it's all age appropriate. So I got
You're
where
right,
my older
but it's a slippery
kids-
slope because
I know.
it's a parent's choice.
I agree. But I also liked what I read, so, and the gist of it. So I don't know. It was just an
I don't even
idea.
have a house phone anymore, so
I know, neither do I.
I know, I get it. We're all reliant on it, but the kids, for sure, it's like it's a toxic environment, especially amongst young ladies.
I know.
So Ashley, just to be clear then, you wanted to bring up a conversation regarding a parent taking a pledge For what, if you can remind people what you're asking for?
A pledge that they wouldn't send their child to school with a cell phone, and maybe we can collaborate a little bit more with Mr. Pollack's idea, and see what else he thinks would be good. It was just an idea. I thought maybe communications could lead it, because you could use it on our Facebook page, post the pledge there, maybe put it on our website, Mr. Ballone. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should talk through
Talk
that,
about
what
it
that
more.
would look like. I think
don't
if you're asking me if which way I'm leaning, again, children, our children are different age ranges. So for mine, the older range, I would say no, because they're out after school, and I need them to have access to their phone.
Yeah, they could walk right out of that building.
Right. So for me, I'm not with it. Also, I think that to Annette's point, I think it is a parent's choice. But I think educating parents, I think Mr. Pollack gave some good information, and the impact, I think having resources available to parents is something I could stand behind, so that they can understand the impact these things have. I'm there on that piece. I don't know about the pledge so much.
Okay. So
but
maybe we
I'm on the
can talk
piece
about
of
this further.
educating the community.
And figure something out, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is just my own personal
This is just-
opinion.
Yeah, it's my
Right.
own opinion too,
Yeah.
right? It's just,
I actually think that, let me phrase this the right way before Lady Whistledown gets me. But I think that social media is giving the kids the courage to say whatever they want to someone's face without any repercussions. So maybe that's the mustard seed, so to speak, of what's going on at the middle school age, because everyone's so brave online, as we all maybe have, seen the, effects of. But yeah, I'm definitely on board with some type of, come together movement.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
thank you. Anything else on old business? Any new business? Okay. Moving to public comments. Has anybody signed up? No? Does anybody want to speak? Mr. Pollack? Oh, just before, as your mic is starting to work, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say one thing. I said in the last public comments, and I just want to say in this one, because I didn't want to forget that, and thank you for reminding me that I said it before. That's what you're referring to, correct? No, maybe not. Okay. I just want to say that with public comments, I said this, and I'm going to continue. Is that me? Oh, no, it's you. Okay. I'm going to continue to say this piece each time. With public comments, under this public comments resolution, any community member has the right and freedom of speech to speak their mind and say what they would like to say. I just want to point out, and I will continue to do so, when you name individuals, whether it's a student or staff or a community member, just know that there may be legal repercussions based on what you've said. It's just a statement I'm making, just to let people know you are welcome to say your piece. I just want to make sure that people understand there could be some ramifications that come from your statement. That's all. Other than that, that's all I want to say. Continue.
Thank you. Adam Pollack, 52 St. Lawrence Way, Marlboro. Thank you, Ashley, for saying what you said. There's a lot of things that you guys were talking about that need to be unpacked on that topic around social media, and I appreciate Mr. Ballone also reaching out and talking through some of the things with me and continuing the conversation from the last board meeting. There's never been any group of parents before 2010 that ever thought that they had the right to unequivocally have access to their child all day for any reason ever before 2010. It never happened. right? Maybe through flip phones when we were a little bit younger, but still is a little bit different. That is a new right that we all think that we have as being parents. And I'm just saying it seems like a relatively new thing, and everybody has the right to make that decision for themselves about what they're comfortable with and for extracurricular activities and things like that. But when in school, that none of us ever had that their parent could just reach out to them at all times if there was an emergency. And the emergency thing and the access and the availability is a common thing that people respond back when talking about this. And that's why when I spoke last month, I said there can be better ways to communicate with parents in case of emergency or something like that. And in reality, we would much rather have children looking at authority figures and taking direction from authority figures during an emergency than trying to communicate with their parents on their cell phones. So I'll just say that. I also think that the pledge is an interesting idea, Ashley. I think that's going to get a lot of pushback. So I'm not sure if I'm super supportive of that. I do think that if we as a community came out and said what we as a board and as the superintendent and the administration, what we think is the right thing to do, that would have be an important first step to say, like, we identified this as a problem and we want to do something about it. And there's some news that just came out today about Los Angeles County coming out and saying that they're banning smartphones across their entire school system. So I just think it's one of these things that, there's one thing about social media, there's another thing about phones, there's obviously this other thing about K-8 where, obviously it's different than high school and in different things there. So I appreciate this. Looking forward to further conversations about this topic. That's not what I was coming up to say, though. What I wanted just to say was that my daughters in school this year, they had a great year. I was so appreciative of everybody who was part of their education. I wanted to make that comment for Mr. Pagliaro at Dugan. We've been a champions family for the last 3 years, and Miss Nadine, Miss Dawn, Miss Veronica, these people are like involved in my family's life, and I know that I really hope that they continue in the YMCA aftercare. And I know that they're like in discussions about that, so I hope that those people continue, and I just want to say that they've had a major impact on my daughter's lives and just all the people that we interact with in the school system. I just really am appreciative of everybody. I never came to board meetings
Can we give him another 3 minutes?
Sorry. I never came to board meetings before this year, and just to see the amount of work that you all put in and the professionalism that you guys put in and the amount of time commitment this all is, I was completely unaware of any of that. And it's also interesting that what's happening here is much different than what is being perceived on social media and how it is being discussed, and the provocateurs and the instigators and the catastrophizers that are in this town that are not here seeing the work that is being done for the town on behalf of the students. It's very it was just very eye-opening to me, and I just wanted to thank you all, and for everybody else who's here that's part of the administration. I'm really impressed with everybody. I'm glad I live in Marlboro, and I think we had a great school year, so I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pollack. Appreciate that. I'm glad your children had a good year. Anybody else? Mrs. Bono.
Good late evening, Ms. Mendez, Mr. Ballone, members of the board, my fellow community members, and my colleagues. It's so great to be here with you this evening, as I will not be seeing you for the next couple of board meetings because I will be leaving to attend residential overnight sleepaway camp, where I am spending my 31st summer. Having said that, in light of the cell phone discussion and policy, most of our residential overnight camps, where many of our students attend for 4 weeks, 7 weeks, whether they're in Pennsylvania, New York, most of them are Wi-Fi free, device free sleepaway camps. Not only do the children not have access to their phones during the day, they don't have access to them for the 7 weeks they're there. In addition to that, they don't have access to tablets, video players, the whole because they are there to play outside, to engage, to learn how to live as a community, to communicate with each other, to have physical, face-to-face conversations with conflict managers, conflict resolution. Students in school are there to learn. They're not there to be communicating on social media with family members during the day. I understand the need for security. I understand it's a different Robertsville than when I was a student. But I just want to put that out there. Children are resilient, and our schools are meant to educate our children. And on that note, I want to thank you for everything you do to put forth policy to help ensure that our children receive the highest education that Marlboro can offer, and have a wonderful summer.
Thank you, Mrs. Bono, and thank you for all you do, and have a wonderful summer as well. And thanks for always coming out. I missed the go to cap, but I guess that will come next year. I know, next year it'll come out. Thank you, though. Anybody else want to speak? Okay. Motion to close public comments. I have a second. Ashley, all in favor? Any opposed? Any discussion? Okay. Public comments are closed. I did just want to note, because we had the policy update before, I did just want to go back. Thank you for the reminder, because that felt like a lifetime ago. That was like a week and a half ago. Danielle, Mr. Ballone, and Mr. Petruno and I, we attended the Strauss Esme Law Conference that was a couple weeks ago in Brookdale. And they had some really great information. We were able to attend some roundtable sessions. We learned a lot about your freedom of speech. We learned about Open Public Meetings Act, a variety of really, really cool topics that will help us to be an even better policy committee than we were before. So we learned some good stuff. So thank you. Did you want to say anything on it? No? Okay. Go ahead, please.
I had one question, just to follow up on the YMCA questions that I had sent your way. I'm not sure if there was a follow-up to those.
Yes, I know Mr. Caravello is still compiling that information, right?
Yeah, I was out yesterday, and then today I was at graduation, and now here, so I will get back to you with the answer, and the full board will get the information.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The Strauss Esme thing, it's great that some of you got to go. Is that only meant for the policy committee, or can other board members be a part of it?
I had forwarded the email. I think all board members received the email. I had forwarded it. Yeah, it's okay. Anybody could attend. So any of those conferences that any of you see coming out from NJSBA or Strauss Esme or wherever, I forwarded it to all of you. Some of you did say you were working, some of you couldn't attend, and some of you registered. And that's okay if you missed it, but it was sent out to everybody. You can attend any of them that you'd like. Sure. Yeah, it's okay. You're still new, so don't worry about it. Anybody else? Okay. With that, we are executive session resolution. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provision of the Open Public Meetings Act, the Marlboro Township Board of Education shall conduct a closed executive session pursuant to the exception prescribed by NJSA 10-4-12 for the purpose of discussing matters of attorney-client privilege and personnel matters. It is anticipated that the length of time of this executive session will be 60 minutes and that action will not be taken in public after the executive session. Be it further resolved that the minutes of the executive session will be released when the need for confidentiality in accordance with NJSA 10-4-12 no longer applies. Do you have a second? Michael? All in favor? Any opposed? Discussion? Okay. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.